Whenever I sit here, the past and what this area has witnessed stirs up in my mind. You'd be surprised to know what this area of land used to consist of.
As part of National
There
Indigenous
was a time
History
when a
Month, the
railroad
National Arts
marshaling
Center
yard
Indigenous
extended.
Theatre has launched the Indigenous Cities project. It's a unique look at history in three different cities in Canada, including right here in Saskatoon. Happy today to be joined by a couple of the local participants, Jennifer Dawn Bishop and Sean Cuthand. Jennifer, we'll start with you. If you don't mind, just give us a little bit of an overview, the idea behind this project, because it is teaching people about history, but it sounds like it's the history that maybe we're not used to hearing about.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think there's certainly a lot more that goes to that. So, Indigenous Cities is a series of place based oral offerings gifted from memories from our Indigenous community members and elders. And they're interpreted by Indigenous artists like myself and Sean here. And it's each recounting kind of like a moment and that place takes that memory takes place in, and what we did was interpret that memory, that gift, and whether it's historical meaning or just a moment in our history that we feel was such a gift to bring to light and not just gloss over, because so many of our stories and moments should be highlighted, just not in only being one of three cities but just everywhere.
And it's a cool thing because people can go online and take part and actually go to these specific places in Saskatoon. They're very geographically centered. The one that you did specifically, Jennifer, is about Gordon. Do you mind telling me a little bit about this story that you've brought to the project?
He said he had been blessed with being given the opportunity in theater and acting, and eventually into movies.
When I had gathered the memories and was gifted this one from Gordon Tatusa's adopted daughter, Irene Oak, I kept reading over the memory, and I was having trouble kind of finding who to pair up to bring this moment to life. And I kept having, and I've been telling a lot of folks this inkling and impulse and the need to help take care of that, because I know what an impact that he's had uh, in our community and how much has made an impact on my life. It's held a special place for myself and many others. It's been a whole experience, and I've been so honored that Irene was absolutely fine with like me interpreting this, and it meant a lot. And same with the Tatusas family.
Sean, the piece that you're involved in is called The Buffalo Bone Trade, centered around First Avenue and 22nd Street in Saskatoon. Do you mind just first of all telling us a little bit about this story without giving too much away?
Yeah, the Buffalo Bone Trade, the story that I did is it's not really a personal story. It's more of a research story that my uncle did. So he was researching on this, and he found that the only sources of info he could find on it was from American articles. So he was trying to make it more well known, and so the Buffalo Bone Trade was in the late 1890s when the buffalo were being wiped out, and there was their bones were just littered all over the prairies. So settlers would gather those bones, and they would all come to the shipping yards in Saskatoon, and that would be an area that hundreds of thousands of buffalo bones had passed through. And today, not really many people know about that. Like, I sure didn't know about that until this story came about, and my uncle told me all about it. So
That is really interesting. Yeah, I have to admit, I didn't know anything about that either, and certainly an interesting and important part of our history that isn't talked about. I'll maybe get you to talk a little bit about that as well, Sean. Why you think it's important that these lesser known, these smaller stories, why should we know about them? Why should people take the time to explore and learn about these things that are happening in many cases right in their own backyard?
Yeah, like I think what's great about this Indigenous cities is that the stories they can range from just a few decades ago to like a century ago. So you really get like a whole variety of stories from different parts of Saskatoon, and like just little different areas can have like great significance on a story. And so yeah, like once people check out these stories, hopefully they like can see like different areas a little bit differently. Like I know for mine, the goal is like to get to people to see the area of Midtown Mall a bit differently after hearing my story.
Fantastic stuff. Well, strongly encourage folks to get involved and learn a little bit more about the city that they live in, and a lot of stories that certainly they're not going to be familiar with. The best way to do that is to visit INDIGENOUSCITIES.CA. Can learn more about Saskatoon. Jennifer and Shawn, thanks so much for chatting with me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you.